Hi everyone. I wanted to say thank you so much for all of your submissions for the discussion board last week. I finished the grading and I'll go over some of those points a little bit later. So let's go ahead and get started. In your Start Here area, if you haven't done so already, you can access the syllabus right here. And when we go to the syllabus, we'll scroll down to this week's deliverables and assignments. All right, so for week 4, which is going to be ending on September 22nd, which will be Saturday at 11:59, you'll be posting on the main discussion board as individual students after having read chapter 3 and 4. If we go to the weekly modules and go to the weekly modules here on the left-hand side, and we drop over to the weekly modules week 4, Week 4 opens up and it has some information here. Chapter 3 is focusing on identifying research questions, and these are the objectives of the chapter. And week 4, actually that should be chapter 4, I apologize for that, should be finding sources of evidence, and those are the objectives as well for this chapter. So after you're done doing that as individual students, you'll be going to week 4, chapter 3 and 4, and the prompt will be developing a research question using the PICO format. In addition to the readings this week, please utilize the PICO question worksheet provided as a guide. Reference at least one peer-reviewed nursing journal on your topic of choice for your PICO question, and look at what strategies do you utilize to conduct your research. So someone's already jumped in and started that. So actually I wanted to go back and discuss some of the information from last week, week 3, and this was a very good discussion regarding nursing practice and evidence-based practice. So back in the day, nurses were just using their experience and not truly delving into the research. So it used to be considered experience-based practice, but everyone's experience is a little bit different. Being able to write in a scholarly manner and submit to peer-reviewed journals allows us as a nursing profession to base our decision making on the evidence as opposed to the experience. It allows us to pull in a lot of different research methods as well as results and research tools and data analysis methods to find what the actual outcomes are. So one of the things I wanted to reference is the expectations of the discussion board. So for the discussion board, it needs to be scholarly, so it's not, it can be your opinion, but it also needs to be supported with resources. So in your response postings, if you only gave the initial posting and your 2 response posts were not scholarly or they were not supported by research, you did not get points for that. Also, APA formatting needs to be adhered to, so please refer to your APA manual. I provided some feedback as to things that needed to be reviewed. Also, submitting by the Wednesday at 11:59 is one of the expectations, and then the following posts or response posts need to be done by 11:59 on that Saturday. So make sure you're adhering to the expectations of the discussion board postings, and to also make sure that you're using references within the last 7 years. That's an expectation of nursing because we need the most updated information. Within 7 years, that would be considered the most updated information. Going beyond that would not be considered the most updated, unless it was considered a seminal work. Seminal works are the groundbreaking research that was done. So Patricia Benner's Novice to Expert would be considered groundbreaking. So you could reference all the way back to her, but you could also reference something or a scholarly journal more recent. But in terms of different aspects of nursing or healthcare that have changed over the years, you would not go back to something older than 7 years because it might be dated. Research has been updated. Models of theory and theoretical frameworks have been added or vetted to make the new and updated information more useful. So let's move on to the discussion board. I already reviewed week 4 for chapter 3 and 4. I also wanted to bring to your attention that your assignment is going to be coming up soon. the individual critique. So that is going to be in 1, 2, 3 weeks. It's critique 1. So I encourage you to start looking at that information. So there's a rubric, there's also the assignment and the guidelines. So here's the rubric. It's worth 20 points. You should go through the entire rubric and make sure that you've hit all of those points. Remember, there is a proficient, competent, and needs improvement levels. And we provide the scholarly article for you to reference, so you don't have to look for it. And then the guidelines are here, the PowerPoint presentation guidelines. All right. So make sure you review those guidelines when you're constructing your PowerPoint. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email,